We don't believe in God anymore.
I never did.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna make sure my mic is on. And it is, you guys. The Netherlands has had its first rehearsal here at Eurovision 2023 in Liverpool. We are in the lush spa, burning daylight. So it's time to react. Are you ready? Let's do this. So I've got to say, we've all said throughout this entire process that staging was key. We've said that the Dutch are masters of lighting, and we've suggested that perhaps they would go for a 2014 Common Linnets intimacy moment, camera panning around the people. Well, guess what? Today, during the first rehearsal, we see Mia and Dion on a platform. There is indeed a man with a camera circling around them, and there's a lot of play with light. I think the lights are actually really beautiful at times. There's one, I don't want to call it a sonic burst, but it's like a star's burst, and like millions of years later, we're seeing the light spread out. You've got another bit where there's lots of like silver and white light. It's nice. It's really captivating, expensive, and chic. Their outfits are black with some silver embellishments, metallic embellishments, which maybe reflect that light. So that's also nice. And so staging-wise, I think this is exactly how you should stage it. The vocals, there's still some issues there based on the TikTok clip. I mean, obviously filming on TikTok, etc., you don't really get the full sound, the mix and everything. It didn't sound perfect, but it sounded better than at the pre-parties. The bar was low, if we're keeping it real, but they have improved. So that is progress. Yeah, on the whole, I think they've done the best that they can with what they have. And Mia and Dion do look more comfortable. They look more comfortable. So this new version where they've changed the key or the tones or they've lowered the pitch or whatever, it's working. It's moved in the right direction. Will this make the final? I still don't think so. However, they should not be ashamed of this. I think they can be proud of how they've elevated this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the new version. I mean, we all expected that, but it's just, to be clear on that, it is the new version that we saw premiered on Dutch TV. It sounds so much better in the arena than I thought it would from that Dutch TV clip. It really fills out the arena a lot more than I expected, albeit just from a TikTok clip. And like you say, that moment with the stars at the end is stunning. They've borrowed Isaiah Firebrace's Lazy Susan and they're walking around it, but I think it actually really elevates it and gives you that Common Linnets intimacy, and the way they're looking at each other, it's very sultry and it's very emotionally charged. I'm so excited to see what this looks like on camera. This is going to be one where it elevates on camera, but not so much kind of watching it from a distance. I think it's going to be really special. At the end, there's a moment where they just kind of like lean in on each other and like they kind of depend on each other at the end. And bit of a weird niche reference, but it's like the Bolero ice skating routine. It's like a really famous moment where at the end they kind of
Torval and Dean.
Yeah, sorry. They like fall onto each other, and it's like a really romantic and tragic thing in that ice skating story. And it's kind of, it reminds me of that. It's this really tragic ending to the song, and also when it goes into goodbye, they kind of turn away from each other. I wonder if that's going to be the first moment where they are turned away from each other, because it seems very eye contact until that moment from what we've seen. So it's going to be really interesting if they are looking at each other constantly throughout until it is goodbye. So I'm really excited how this comes across on camera. We can't tell too much yet. Vocally, it is better than what we've had previously, but like you said, the bar was on the floor at the moment. Well, not on the floor, but it wasn't great. So, you know, but they are filling out the arena so much better than I expected. So it's not bad news.
They make use of the stage, I think, and that was what they needed to do, because it's been so awkward and difficult to watch them not really knowing what to do or how to interact on the pre-parties stage, because, you know, that's a limited space, right? It's quite an intimate gig compared to what Eurovision is. And I like that they've still managed to create a moment of intimacy in a giant arena. You know, the eye contact, I love. The fashion, I really like. The idea, you know, there's something very like Cornelia Jacobs about it. Yeah. 20s gangster, like New York with silver pinstripes. I really like that. I worry that it's maybe wearing them more than they are wearing it. I wanted a bit more maybe grunge or a bit more, you know, raw emotion in how this was going to be presented, I guess, visually, but the effects on the stage, like 10 out of 10. We knew they were going to be perfect. The Netherlands always does that really well. Duncan Lawrence, the Common Linnets. The smoke at the end, love that. The color story is perfect. Just not quite sure how this is going to look on camera. If they nail the shots right into the eyes, that sounds really dirty, doesn't it? Wow.
I don't know what goes on in your house. Let's move on.
If they get the camera angles right, they can convey the emotion, is what I'm saying. If the camera angles aren't right, I think that it's just going to look awkward.
Fair. Those are fair points. Do you guys think this has a chance of making the final?
No, I don't. What you said about vocally, I'm trying not to give too much weight to the TikTok clips that we're seeing, because it's not the audio that we'll be hearing on the night. But the journey that this has gone on, I'd expect it to be in a much stronger place than what it is now. They've had a lot of time to work on it, and I don't think it is where it needs to be. The actual cut might change my mind, but it's going to be really tough for them to secure votes, especially coming right before Finland.
And after Czechia, we saw Czechia earlier. Czechia was stunning, like more so than we expected, potentially. Coming after that is going to be hard, let alone before Karia. Like, it is going to be hard out here. And this was my second favourite before pre-parties. Like, I'm a huge fan of this song. I'm gutted, like I am sad that it isn't what we expected it to be before pre-party started, but if they qualify, it's in 9th or 10th place.
You know how sometimes you order a sandwich and you're more into the bread than you are into the meat? I kind of feel that that's what's going on. We have the Netherlands in the middle, we got Czechia on one side, and then the other side, who was it? Finland. I mean, that's a delicious slice of bread. So I do pity them being put in this position. It definitely contrasts with what's around it. However, I just don't think it's as memorable. But yeah, we're going to bring in Jonathan Votri right now just to get his quick take on this. You've been standing so patiently at the sideline. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Mia and Dion.
The word I have for this is promising. I think it's pushing them in the right direction to where they need to be going. There's a lot of comparisons to the Common Linnets, but I think it's important to state this isn't a copy and paste scenario. The Common Linnets, they were stood in place and the camera was moving around them, whereas this time they're the ones on the revolving stage and the camera is just sort of moving with them and whatever other tricks they have up their sleeve. So I am quite happy with what they've put out. This is definitely building the atmosphere, and when we have that smoke shot at the end, having that to just sort of really help bring that feeling in place is nice. It's pushing them closer towards a qualification, but considering how competitive this semi-final is, I am still worried.
And I've just got to say, this is in no way the Common Linnets in terms of quality. Let's be real. Waylon and Ilsa, they may have hated each other in real life, but on stage we thought they loved each other. Mm-hmm. That intimacy. At the moment, I'm not feeling that intimacy.
It feels calculated. Like it just doesn't feel real yet. It feels like a project, and this isn't kind of this. The raw emotion isn't there. The base material of I feel distraught about this relationship falling apart or whatever the song is about, it doesn't come from a sincere place, or at least that's not how it's conveyed.
My advice is this. Mia, if you're not into Dion, focus on the cameraman. Get that spark going. Dion, if you're not into Mia, focus on the cameraman. Get that spark going. All right, that's what we think. What do you think? Can the Netherlands make the final of Eurovision 2023? And if they do, where are they going to place? Do you see the Common Linnets comparison? Who is better? Let us know here on Wiwibloggs.
Hit like, leave your comments down below, and make sure to subscribe as well.
And join us in the Lush Lounge. We are taking up residency here in Lush, Liverpool, the world's biggest Lush store. And we will have many of the Eurovision 2023 acts coming to join us, and we would love to see you there.
And while you're online, why not buy my book, Wild Dances, My Queer and Curious Journey to Eurovision, out May 9th. Pre-order link in description. See you later. Bye!